Hello, my name is C0LONIALISM from Edukea Tanzania. I'm a History 2 teacher of advanced level. So welcome to proceed with our topic, which is New Colonialism and the question of underdevelopment in the third world. On the last session, we ended on the influence of Havana Conference towards the efforts of solving the problem of underdevelopment in the third world countries. So today, let us see another cooperation or dialogue which was formed to combat the problem of underdevelopment in third world countries, and it was known as the South-South cooperation or dialogue. What is South-South dialogue or cooperation? Refer to the cooperation among the developing nations or countries found in Southern Hemisphere, that is Asia, Pacific, Africa, and Latin America. It means that the South-South dialogue or cooperation refer to the cooperation among the developing nations found in Southern Hemisphere, which include the area like Asia, Pacific, Africa, and Latin America. The dialogue was founded in 1987. It means the dialogue or the cooperation was founded in 1987. The cooperation was firstly chaired by Marine Julius Kambarage Nyerere and Manmohan Singh of India as the Secretary General. So the cooperation was elected the leaders, whereby Marine Julius Nyerere or Kambarage Nyerere was the first chairman or chairperson of that cooperation, and the General Secretary was Manmohan Singh from India. Let us see the objectives which were discussed or which were aimed to be accomplished by the South-South cooperation or dialogue. The objectives of the South-South dialogue include to avoid the dependence on the developed nations or countries. It means that this cooperation or dialogue was aiming at to remove the dependence on developed nations. So the southern or less developed countries were much depending on developed countries to get financial assistance, political assistance, and other assistance, so that they can learn their different activities in their countries. So the main aim or objective of that dialogue was to remove or to avoid the dependence of less developed countries on the developed countries. Another objective was to maintain peace and security. It means that the dialogue aimed to influence their member states or the member states of the South-South dialogue in order to maintain the peace and the security among the Southern Hemisphere countries. So the dialogue was aiming to build up the military army or the army of which include all countries found in Southern Hemisphere, as it will help the member states when it attacked by the enemy, or to cooperate in maintaining the security and stability among the southern countries. For example, the Colonel Muammar Gaddafi of Libya as the president was come up with the decision of making the one army which will act as the NATO of Southern Hemisphere in order to maintain peace and security among the Southern Hemisphere country. Another or third objective was to bypass the dominance of the North. It means to remove or to eliminate the dominance of the North. It means that the South-South dialogue or cooperation was aiming to eliminate or to bypass the dominance of the North or by the North. It means the northern countries or the developed countries are dominating the southern hemisphere countries they regard them as poor countries, so they have to be dominated by the richer countries, which are the Western countries or developed countries from the Northern Hemisphere. So the dialogue was aimed to bypass the domination by the North or of the North. Another was to promote cooperation among the southern countries. It means that the dialogue was aiming to promote the cooperation among the southern countries in various activities, like in transport and the communication activities, to cooperate together in doing activities. But in economic matters, trading activities, they were aiming to cooperate each other and with the aim of revamping or making the economy grow up as the economy of Northerners. So that was another objective of the South-South dialogue. But the another objective was to improve economic field. It means that the South-South dialogue was aiming to improve the economic field of the southern countries, because their economies were poor or were not in the stable base. So what the aim was to revamp or to make the economies grow up by introduction or by establishing various strategies and ways which will be used in fostering or of boosting their economies. For example, the giving priority in different economic sectors like agriculture at the backbone of many third world countries, establishment of different industries which were enabling the fostering the development of production in industrial goods, and that will stop the dependence on manufactured goods from abroad. And the last one was to establish modern industries and defend their market. It means another objective of that South-South dialogue or cooperation was to establish modern industries and defend their market. It means that their main aim or another aim was to ensure that there is establishment of modern industries and advanced industries which will produce the goods and services which will compete with the goods from abroad or from northern countries. So this was another aim. For example, the industries which will process the raw materials which are produced in southern countries, like processing industries of cotton, sisal, coffee, and other, without depending much on the northern countries. So these were the objectives of the South-South dialogue. After looking those objectives, let us see the challenges encountered by South-South dialogue. The first challenge was raw scientific and technological development. As we know that the third world countries or southern hemisphere countries are poor in science and technology, so it could be tough or difficult for them to undergo the introduction or establishment of modern industries which will produce the goods and service with high quality and quantity compared to the products which are produced by the western or northern countries. Another challenge, poor position of the South in international trade. It means that the southern countries were poor in competing in international trade because the price of goods which were produced or which are produced by the southern countries or southern hemisphere countries are fixed by the low price under the World Trade Organization, and the goods of the northern countries are fixed by the high price. So in the competing of international trade will be the difference, or there will be the poor position of the southern goods because they have low price, and the contribution towards the economic growth will be low because the price are low, and the price of the northerners are at high rate. So that was another challenge encountered in the South-South dialogue. But another challenge was political instability or instabilities or political unrest. It means that many third world countries from backward in 1989 and towards or onwards, there were political unrest in different southern countries. For example, in Congo, in Somalia, in Sierra Leone, in Nigeria, in Rwanda, and many countries in Sudan. So these were countries which were suffering from political unrest or political instability. So it could be difficult for them to unite as the one organ or the one country to conduct those strategies which were decided or which were discussed during the South-South dialogue. Because if there is a war maybe in a country, you can't go there and practice any activity because of fearing to be destroyed or to be killed due to the presence of the war. So that was another challenge. And another was different level in economic development. As I have told you that the South-South dialogue was involved countries from Asia, Africa, Pacific, and Latin America. So there were countries which were very developed or developed than the others. So the inequality, imbalance of development or economic imbalance among those countries was actually as a challenge, because if it was maybe the contribution in financial assistance, it could be tough to provide the equal financial percent, because some of the countries have poor economy and others have advanced economy, like Brazil, India, China, Cuba, and other nations. So you can see that those different levels in economic developments were the challenge towards the South-South dialogue or cooperation. But another is natural calamities. This was another challenge that faced the South-South dialogue, because in some countries in Southern Hemisphere were influencing or were suffering from natural calamities like drought, earthquake, floods, hunger, and other natural calamities and disasters, which could lead to the decline of economy because of mass destructive of those natural disasters or calamities which were facing those southern countries. As I have told you the example, the earthquake which occurred in Tanzania in 2018, there was the earthquake which destroyed many settlements of the people in Bukoba, in Kagera region, specifically in Bukoba. So you can see that earthquake was shaking the economy of the people around that area. So due to those natural calamities could bring the challenge among the member states of South-South dialogue to accomplish the objective which they had planned to achieve at a certain period of time. But another was imperialistic engagement policies. The imperialists or even now, the imperialists or the Western or Northern countries are engaging or interfering the less developed countries' affairs. For example, in political matters, in economic matters, in social, cultural, technological, military matters are being interfered by those imperialistic powers. For example, in political matters, you can see that there is establishment of multi-party system, establishment of constitutional system, which were not there by that time, but due to the influence of those imperialistic powers, these things or stuffs have been introduced, like multi-party system in Tanzania, as was introduced in 1992. And another engagement or intervention in various less developed countries' affairs in military activities, whereby the Northerners are sending their troops as acting the peacemakers while they are exploiting the less developed countries. For example, in Congo, USA will send military assistance or arms or troops to assist the Congolese in order to keep peace and stability in that nation. But the result was exploiting the exploitation of natural resources in Congo and many different countries where the civil wars or various unrest existed. So you can see the imperialistic engagement policies have become the challenge that encountered the South-Saudi dialogue. But the last one, it is disease and epidemics. In less developed countries, there is the frequently outbreak of diseases and epidemic diseases. These diseases have been acted as an obstacle that have been acted as the masking diseases. So the population has been decreased and the manpower or the laborers have been died or have been decreased. Hence the production on various economic activities have become low because the diseases are affecting the manpower. And for example, cholera, typhoid, malaria, and AIDS or HIV/AIDS, which are how they will curb the problems or the diseases. So, and the poor health services which are present in less developed countries, that diseases affect much the less developed countries or the Saudi countries. After looking at the challenges, let us see the achievements of the cooperation. The first one was the developing nations have their voice in international financial organs. For example, in World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, the less developed countries have got the chance to give the voice on those international monetary or international financial organs. For example, in giving the petitions on how to reduce their conditionalities that are kept to qualify for get the loans from those international financial organs. Another, it has facilitated the development of trade among themselves. It means that South-South dialogue has successfully in bringing the development of trade among themselves, whereby the various cooperations in trade activities have been formulated, whereby those countries have to cooperate in trade activities. For example, the formation of less developed countries markets, whereby the less developed countries are exporting and importing the goods and the services from and within the less developed countries. That has been among the achievements of that South-South dialogue. But another, it is managed to establish African Development Bank. It means that the South-South dialogue is successful to establish the African Development Bank, which has been acting as the financial assistance among the southern countries. So the financial assistance was not highly depending on the northerners, on the international financial organs like IMF or World Bank, rather than depending on African Development Bank, ADB. And another achievement, it is strengthen unity and solidarity among the southerners or the South. It means that the South-South dialogue has brought or has successfully to strengthen the unity and the solidarity among themselves, whereby those countries have been cooperating in maintaining peace and security and stability among the member states. For example, when the war occurs, those nations or member states send or provide the troops which keep peace among the member states. Another, it is managed to strengthen multilateral organization. It means that the South-South dialogue is successfully to strengthen the multilateral organizations. And these is multilateral organizations have been introduced in different countries in the southern hemisphere, which improve the economic activities, trading activities, tourism activities, mining activities, whereby there is cooperation among the member states in production. So in one way or another, led to the improvement of economy among the member states. So until there, this is where the achievement of the cooperation or achievement of the South-South dialogue. So let me give you an exercise which involves two questions. Exercise. The first question, it is assess the achievement of the South-South dialogue, and the second one, it is explain the objectives of the South-South dialogue. Until there, this is the end of our lesson. So thank you for listening me attentively and appropriately. So I advise you to study hard and make revision on what I have taught you and what I have instructed you, so as you can successfully perform well in your exams and increase your knowledge and skills about history. So let me welcome you on the next lesson. Thank you, have a good day, and thank you for choosing Edukea Tanzania as the best choice for you to be educated. Bye bye.
Purchase your tracks today.